My name is Jessica, or The Jess Mess, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I do my face. I will be using a combination of primers, concealers, foundations, and powders today. So how I start my face off usually is I will spray it with a little bit of setting spray. For mine, I like to use Milani Make It Last. And I'll just spray a little bit. Just so it moisturizes the face a little bit. And then I will go ahead and go in with my Laura Mercier. This is the Tinted Skin Moisturizer. And I always apply to the back of my hand. If I had a palette, I would apply it to the palette, but I just use my hands. My hands are washed and cleaned. I've already done that. To apply the moisturizer, I usually go in with my Morphe sponge. I believe this one is the contour one. And I will go ahead and take my sponge, the pointy end of it, to use it to dot the moisturizer onto my face. Okay, then I will take the pointy end and I will go ahead and start blending it out. Now this is just a moisturizer, so it is not going to do a whole heck of a lot for you. But I like to just have something done. And you will probably notice my eyes and eyebrows are already done. I like to do those first because whenever I do those first, it helps me avoid having fallout getting into my foundation. With this look, I didn't have a whole heck of a lot of fallout, but whenever I do looks with like reds and blues and stuff like that, I do have a lot of... This look only had one blue, but whenever it's like deeper blues and a larger variety, I usually do have a lot of fallout. Okay, and if you'll notice, I'm not going all the way up next to the waterline quite yet. For one, because I do have a little bit of shadow there from smoking my lash line out. And for two, I'm going to use the other side of the beauty blender, well, the beauty sponge. Okay, now I just use the side with the straight line to tap it out. And again, I don't want to go all the way up to that waterline because I do have a little bit of residual shadow there from my look. So now I'm going to go ahead and blend out the forehead. Again, I like to use the pointed side. And then I get really careful whenever I go up to the brows and I use the straight side. And I won't go all the way up just because I like to, I just don't like to take it all the way up, honestly. Okay, so my next step is I will just wait for this to dry a little bit. And then after that, I'll be back to put my primer on. And we're back. I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of my primer onto my face. And then after I do that, we'll move on to foundation. Just for the primer, I am, well, let me see if I can find it. Here she is. Okay, for the primer that I'm using today, it is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. That is what she looks like. With packaging wise, it's pretty good packaging. It is a plastic container, but I like to use them for like other things. Like I like to, this is kind of silly, but I like to start seeds in them sometimes. Whenever I grow my herb garden, I grow basil and cilantro, and I have some sage growing right now. So I'll just go ahead and tap that onto the face and then smooth out. And I do use my fingers with the primer because I like to use the heat of my hand. Again, my hands are washed. And then we'll go to the other side and do the same. Now, the reason I'm applying it right here to my face is because this is where my problem areas are. I have a little bit of extra texture here, and sometimes I do have a little bit of rosacea in my cheeks, so I do like to go ahead and apply this primer to try and, well, the tinted moisturizer was to try and cover the little bit of discoloration up, and then the primer is to smooth it out, the skin. That's what this one does. There are primers that do other things. You can buy primers that are illuminating. You can buy primers that, like this one, that are pore filling. You can buy primers that only smooth. Okay, and then I'll take a little bit on my forehead as well because I do have a little bit of texture here. I think it's some adult acne, like, or some, I've heard if you eat a lot of dairy, you can get calcium deposits. So I don't know, it's one of the two, but I'm not worried enough about it to go to a doctor. I'm just gonna use some skincare. I actually ordered some e.l.f. skincare and I'm pretty excited about that for my birthday. And then I go ahead and I use my Morphe sponge to tap it out, make sure it's really pressed into the skin. I just like everything to be really smooth and blended, so you'll see me going back in a lot with my sponge, even with different powder products. That's a trick that I'm not sure who I learned that from. I'm sure it was a drag queen because that's where I learned most of my makeup tricks from. Trixie Mattel, I've watched her for a while. She's pretty cool. Aquarius. Now I'm going to go ahead and start on foundation since the primer is smoothed into my skin. For today's foundation, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Photo Finish Foundation. It's in Shell Ivory. I get this at my Ulta. You can also get it online at wetnwild.com. You can get it at Walmart. I know CVS carries it. Target carries Wet n Wild. I really like this foundation because it's very buildable. And it's very inexpensive as well. And again, I just really like to dot products on instead of kind of swiping them on, because whenever I swipe them on like that, I don't know, it just puts too much in one area, I think. And I'm barely touching it. Whenever I do dot it on my skin, I'm barely touching. I know a lot of like makeup artists will put it on their hand first or their palette, but since I'm the only one that's using my foundation, even whenever I do other people's foundation, for one, I wash my brushes first, but for two, I will go ahead and use like whatever foundation they like, because I like to use whatever people like. And then I go in with my Morphe. It is this rose gold brush. I got it for my birthday in a holiday set or summer set, maybe. I'm not sure. But my husband got them for me at Ulta. I don't think this is available anymore. But the point is, it's a flat kabuki brush for foundation. I do need to go ahead and wash my brushes again. I just really have not had the chance. I've been really busy working out, and I like to do downward strokes first, making sure not to tug the skin, but just to spread the product. Because we had those dots, so we want to spread them around. And I do like to start at the bottom and then work my way to the top. I will go ahead and start swirling and really buffing that product into the skin. Whenever I get to this part, I do like to go ahead and do a back and forth motion and really choke up on my brush so that I can see what's going on. Now, foundation, I think, is the easiest and the hardest part of the whole routine, because it is the least difficult part to mess on for makeup, I suppose, but And there is a lot of face area, but there's a lot of things that you can do wrong. Like, I'm really bad at shade matching, so sometimes my shade just doesn't work. But since I'm having to order everything online right now because we can't go to the store, I can't really like return anything, you know. So I just have to use whatever shade I get, which is okay. This one is a decent shade match. I'm not sure. I can't tell, but I've heard people tell me before that it's too light or it's too dark, but it's a pretty even mixture of both, so I'm just not sure. Again, I like to pat and pounce, but then I'll go in and I'll swirl and buff it back out. Okay, and whenever I get near my brows, I don't really blend very much because I'm going to go back in with my concealer and my concealer brush. Okay, so I just drag it down a little bit, being really careful not to use too much pressure and harshness. Okay, now once your foundation is laid down, again, I am someone that likes to make sure everything's really smooth, so I go back in with my beauty blender, well, my Morphe sponge, sorry. I apologize. I probably will call it that a lot just because that's what I'm used to. I've never actually had a real true beauty blender, but I'm just not someone who can afford $20 on a sponge. I like the more affordable option, and since I've never used the beauty blender before, this one works for me. And this is my favorite sponge, the Morphe sponges. I have tried sponges from, don't clock me for this, but I've tried sponges from Wish. They're all usually pretty like firm. The only other sponge that I know that is a dupe for this particular one that is so soft and squishy and applies product so well is my Nana actually got me these sponges that were in a multi-pack from Rite Aid. And they were just Rite Aid brand, and they work really well, which is, I'm saying is surprising because it's hard to find like a really good sponge. For concealer, I'm going to go ahead and use this Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. It is shade, I think it's 110. I can't really see the number, but I know I'm the lightest one, so, because I really like a really light foundation to brighten the area up. So I will just go and I will take it and swoop and swish down and really triangulate that out. You want to do that because you don't want the entire area to be bright. You just want the high points of your face. Just like with actual highlighter. You're going to pretty much apply it to the areas that you would apply highlighter. Except just lighten up your face. Sorry. No exceptions. That was such a good song. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my, this is a Real Techniques concealer brush. My Nana gets me a lot of things. She's pretty awesome. I love her. She's the best. But I got this brush from a holiday gift set, I think 2 years ago, that my Nana got me. And I don't know, every time she gets me brushes, they end up being my favorite brushes. I just need to let my Nana do my shopping, I think, honestly. Okay. So I just use it to really buff it into the skin, go back and forth, do some circles, just blend in however you like. Every face shape is going to be different. How you apply highlighter. Every shape is going to be different for the areas that you want to increase or decrease. For me, I like to decrease the forehead, so I will apply with a downward stroking motion. So I do not drag any more attention to the forehead. And for my nose, I just kind of want to pre-carve out where that contour is going to go. Okay. And then I'll go back to the other side. Really blend it out. I like to blend in different ways for different sides of the face, as you notice. I do believe that I've had a stroke. Well, actually, I know I've had a stroke. The doctors told me that. But I did have a stroke, so one side of my face is droops, which is totally okay. I didn't really notice it that much because I'm mostly blind, but also because I just can't, I don't know, I just didn't notice that much until I started editing videos. And it did make me sad, but I think I'm at a point in my life where I just don't care what I look like. I just want to be a healthier person. So I'm going to go ahead and take my beauty blend, my Morphe sponge, and I'm going to go ahead and blend it out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let that dry and get a little bit sticky and tacky for a moment, and I will be right back with you. All right, and I'm back. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and switch to a different brush. The brush that I like to use is another one from that set that I got, the Morphe one, but it is just a little cat paw brush like this. It's angled and, I don't know, it's just cut in a really neat shape so it can get right underneath the eye. For the bake is what it's called, but I don't apply like a thick layer like a lot of people do, so I don't technically, I don't say that I bake, I just set my under eyes. So I'm going to take the Morphe Bacon Set in Brightening Pink. It is my absolute favorite powder, and I like to mix it with the LA Girls Pro Powder Translucent. It is a very white color, and this is a very bright pink color, so it just does really good things for the under eyes. So I go ahead and I get quite a lot on there. I'll go ahead and tap it off into the tub, tap the excess. Then I start out and I'll just go in. And I pat it, I don't swipe. I already have eyelashes on today because I wanted to have most of my look done before I came back on, but normally I would wait to apply those. Okay. Then I go ahead and I'll take a little bit of the powder and I'll drag it down here, here, and then I'll go back into the tub, tap it off, then I'll go back into the lids, tap it off in the tub, and go back in. And you just kind of want to get them to meet, and you want your eye to look nice and bright. This eyelash is a little wonky, but that's okay. Okay. There we go. That is how I fake bake my under eye. Again, I like everything to be nice and uniform and blended. So I'll go back in and press the powder in with my blender. It just makes everything look really nice. Blended. And then for my actual powder foundation that I like to use this. It is a long name, so give me just a second. I like that they use black packaging though, because I can read it better. Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Custom Finish Powder Foundation from Shiseido, and it is in... Not sure what number the shade is, but I know it is in Shell for sure. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in with my Wet n Wild brush from the brush set that my Nana got me for Christmas. I believe it was holiday 2019, I want to say. No, it wasn't last year. 2018 then. And then I'm going to just get a lot on my brush. Really want it in there. And then I'll go ahead and start tapping my foundation over. And I just like this because I like a mattifying look. For me, for some reason, my face, and it's all foundations, it doesn't matter what foundation I'm using. It's every single one of them. But for me, if I don't go in with a powder and set everything, my face will separate. I don't know why. It's not like it's oily. That's usually why things separate. Or if the powder, or if the products just don't work together. But I mean, this is just any product. Like literally, it's happened to me my entire life. Everything just separates and looks bad. So I think it's just my face. That little bit of texture that I have, I think is what really does it for it. And what I'm doing is I'm just going in and I'm setting it. I'm using light motions to just tap. And what this does is it gives me just a little bit of that color back to my face after baking. Okay. And then I'll just go in and I'll do the circular motions. Sometimes I can't talk. Excuse me. I'll just blend everything out. Okay. Now I like to take my Morphe sponge once again and just dab it out. I don't know who watches the Simply Nailogical, but she always says dab, 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 make it fab. So that's what we're doing. Just press, press, press. Like Cardi B. Okay. Now that your powder is done and pressed into the skin, I like to go ahead and take, I think this is actually supposed to be some kind of flat kabuki brush. I'm not sure what the technical term or use for it is, but it's the BH Cosmetics, I think rose gold brushes. And I know the specific one is number 4. And then I just like to go in to my Mini Controversy palette, and I'll use that shade Diet Root Beer right in the middle and load the brush up. And then just like with eyeshadow, we're going to tap it off because it is an eyeshadow, not a bronzer or a contour. Personally, for me, I'm just not good at finding things sometimes. Because I get really scared about wasting money. So I like to just use whatever I have on hand. I'm going to go in for my face shape. Now this is the thing. Contour is different for every single face shape. Just like eyeshadow, just like eyeliner, just like brows, just like anything. It's going to be different for every single person. For my face shape, I like to start almost where you would put your highlighter at, which is the highest point of your face, your jawbone. And I like to just go ahead from here. And I kind of swoop it in on this side because I like to have a more chiseled look. I like to make it look like Well, you know. All right, so first I'll just go ahead and apply the product, and then I'll do the rest of the face as well. It does look crazy before I finish, so that's okay. And for me, I've had to learn my face shape. I've had to learn how to feel for things. I've had to learn how to see hues and tones whenever I can't really see them. For me, it's having this mirror right here, which I think I showed you in my first video, or my second. And I can look far away so I can see how I appear to other people. Again, starting at the highest point of my face and just going in. And again, I like to curve it a little bit so it gives it a more chiseled look. Sometimes if I really want to be chiseled, I'll take some underneath my jawbone. And just go in, honey. Okay, now this is probably the most important part. I like to go ahead and just give my brush a good little dust off. You can use your hand. I usually use my pants, so I shouldn't do that, but I do. Tap. And then I'll go back in. I like to use circular motions going upward because you want to pull the cheek up and you want to make everything appear more lifted. Or at least I do. That is my main concern. And then I just blend it all out. And what I do is I go upwards first and then I go up and down sideways. So we're blending back and out and back and out. And then once I'm pretty satisfied, this is a rough cut. You'll see the end whenever I go to blend everything out for the final time. But again, I just like to brush upwards, make everything look nice and lifted. Upwards. And I'm also using a pretty light hand, honestly, for this, because I just like to. And then for the nose, I'll go up and down, and I'll look down. Well, I don't really look down. I kind of just close my eyes, but if you need to see, you can put your mirror below you and just look down. Now for my nose contour, again, your nose contour is going to be different than everyone else. It's what you want. I like a longer nose with a squared off tip for the button nose effect. And again, I'm just blending upwards. And then up and down. And then I'm going to do my forehead. And since I really want a smaller forehead, I'm going to blend in to really diminish that forehead and make it appear smaller. So it does not look like I have a tin head. And then I'll just go back in. Okay, and then one of my very favorite tricks is to go back in with that large fluffy brush from the Wet n Wild, and then I'll just take whatever is in the baking tubs and I'll just veil over it. And this is a step that I learned from Lipstick Nick, Jeffree Star, one of Jeffree Star's makeup artists. She does this whenever the contour is too heavy, or if she just laid down the wrong color of contour on her client, because that can happen sometimes if you're just not paying attention, and don't feel bad. Okay. And if you have color where you do not want any, like if you want this part to be really sharp and defined, I will show you a trick really quick. You can take the edge of your beauty blender, Morphe sponge, and I go into my powder like this. You get some on there. You just wipe it away. Now for me, I don't like a super defined contour unless I'm doing that certain type of look. So I don't actually love doing this all the time. This is not part of my normal makeup routine, but I know that there are a lot of people who will want to know how to do that. So the most important part of makeup for me is moving my mirror, learning my face, and just blending everything out time and time again. And yeah, it can get repetitive and annoying, and if you don't have a lot of time to do it, then that's fine. But for me, this is what works for me and my face. And like I said, after every step, I just like to go in and blend everything out. Make sure it all looks good, put together, smooth. Make sure you look like one person and not three. Because I don't blend very well sometimes, and I'd be looking like three different people. And I really try to get the nose area good, because sometimes that nose contour is not it, sis. Like, what the hell did she do to you, you know? And I also like it to be more subtle towards the end, so I add more powder down towards the end. Makeup is like painting, like art. Anytime you make a mistake, you can just use some corrector and correct it. Okay, and that is my bronzer contour situation. She needed a little help up here, girl. Okay. Trying me. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and move on to highlight. I know there are people who want to know how to do blush. I personally don't like blush on my face. I can do a video with blush incorporated at some point. Just let me know if you do want that. But I like to move straight onto highlighter. I like a like really bright highlight. I like for the Lord Jesus to see me from heaven. I like the aliens to see me from outer space. You know, it's okay. So I like to use a combination of a liquid highlight. This is the Liquid Frost in Ice Queen by Jeffree Star. And then for this, you just push down, up to load it. And then I like to apply it on my hand. You push it out like that for it to come out. 1 squirt is all you need. Honestly, 1 squirt is usually way too much for me. Get it on the end of your beauty sponge. Oh, that's cute, just like that. An editorial look. And you're going to apply it all the places that are the highest points of your cheek, your face. Okay, and then I go back in with this more defined. And I'll just kind of wiggle it back and forth just to blend it in. Same with my nose, especially whenever you have a smaller area that you're trying to do. I like to just wiggle things back and forth. But once we get up here, we can just press it in like so. And then here I go back to the pointy side. I just kind of dot it out. And I do like Jeffree Star's liquid frost because, or liquid highlighters, because you can use them with foundation and powder on. And I've never seen a product that you could use like that before. That's liquid. That blends with powders. On top of powders. Not just with powders, but on top of powders. Pretty impressive. I do believe this. I got this in a mystery box. That's one thing about my products is most products that I get like in bulk or at a discounted rate. I don't think I've ever bought anything full price because makeup is just really expensive, especially whenever you want to do all the steps. If you're only doing like mascara and eyeliner, it's not that bad, but it's still like $20 for just mascara and eyeliner, so you know. But okay, so I am going to go ahead and put my beauty sponge up right now. I'm going to go ahead and this is the most awesome highlighter brush I've ever used. Before this, I was using a brush from BH Cosmetics. I can go ahead and show you that one. Yeah. Before that, I was using this highlighter brush. I do really enjoy this highlighter brush. It is just not my favorite anymore. I believe this is from the White Marble set. And for my highlighter today, I'll probably go into this Peppermint Frost palette by Jeffree Star. It was a limited edition in his Christmas mystery boxes. I was lucky enough to get one and to actually receive it. I know a lot of people were not, but I do use it every day. It is probably my favorite highlighter palette. It's definitely my favorite highlights that I have. So I just load my brush up, and then starting with the side, I'll just pat that product back onto the liquid frost, and it's just instantly just like a whoosh. The color that I'm using today is called Ugly Sweater. Okay, now I tap all of that off, and I'll just blend it in with the top part. For my Cupid's bow, I like to go down and then across because I don't want to get it all over here and here. I just want to keep it kind of as light and concentrated as I can. I just hope that this look doesn't look crazy on camera because I am just using my phone. And I like to drag it to the cheek because it gives your cheeks a more glass-like effect. Nikki Tutorials, Jeffree Star, pretty sure most like influencers do that now, and I know a lot of makeup artists do too. Sometimes if you want, you can put a little highlight underneath your chin or not underneath your chin, I'm sorry, underneath your bottom lip, right where your chin starts. I'm not going to do that today, but I am going to go ahead and go in with my chapstick. I'm out, so I have to go in with my finger, which is fine because hand washing. I'm just going to put a little chapstick on. I have consistently dry lips. Don't know why. I always have. It's probably because I pick at them all the time. But for this look, I want to do kind of like, I don't know. I kind of want to do a purple lip. I might do that. I really like purple. Okay, this is the same thing that is on my eyes for eyeliner. This hit Jeffree Star's Velour Liquid Lipsticks. This one is in shade I'm Royalty. They can be used for eyeliner as well. So to use them as eyeliner, put them on the back of your hand, put them on a palette, or you can just apply directly to the eyes. I use the back of my hand and a brush to apply them to the eyes, but I'm going to go ahead and go in with this. The applicator on this I really like. It really seems to hug the lips, and it's a lot easier for me to not make a mistake because I can feel what's going on. Okay, so once I get the basic on there, I go ahead I can't talk while doing lipstick, but I go ahead and outline the rest of my lips. Okay, my lips are kind of two different. One's a little droopy, which is okay. Okay. I like for it to be really vibrant and pronounced. I really like that lippy. I think I'm also going to take a little bit of this one is called Thirst Trap. And I'm going to put that directly in the center for a little bit of an ombre effect. And usually if I was doing lip art, which I don't do anymore, but if I was going to do that, I'd usually use a brush. But I'm just going to use my finger. And I tap up. A lot of people tap down. I tap up because I don't want that all coming down. And then whenever I get to my lip, I'll tap down. My upper lip, sorry. Okay, so there's just a tiny little bit of that gradient you can see there. And then I'm going to... Oh, heck. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and go in with his gloss in Sequin Glass. It's this really pretty, like, I don't really know. It's like a really pretty gray purple. I really love it. It makes any lippy. You can put it on for dark, a little bit deeper hue, deeper toned, or you can just wear it on its own. They're really moisturizing. And they also smell like creme brulee. They're scented that way. Okay, and that is how I would do the rest of my face. I'm going to go ahead and use some setting spray, and then that's it. So let me go ahead and use some setting spray. The one I'm using right now is Wet n Wild Natural Finish, and the one I showed you earlier, which is the Milani Make It Last. Hold it pretty, you know, an okay distance away from your face. And then you just spray. Okay. And at this point, I would usually use like a palette to dry my face. So I'm going to do that. All right, and it looks like this is the final look, fully completed. This is how I do my face personally. I do use other foundations and stuff like that, but today this is what I used. I do really enjoy these products. I don't want you to feel like I'm pushing anything on you, but this is what I use. This is what I enjoy using. These are my tried and true products, my everyday products. Some things I bought on my own, other things I got sent from this really cool app called Influencer. You download it and then you do reviews. You can do makeup, household products, cleaners, literally anything, pet products, I know. And you continue to earn points on there the more reviews you do to get surveys later in the future so that you can complete those. And then from those surveys, they go ahead and determine what Vox boxes that you're eligible for, and then they send you one about once every season or so. So those are really cool. I've gotten a lot of my makeup products from that. Most of my luxury products, like the Synchro Skin foundation and the Laura Mercier, both of those I got in a Vox box. I would not have been able to purchase those on my own, so I thought it was really awesome that I did go ahead and get those for free for, I think it was last season, winter, I think I got the Shiseido Skin, and I'm already out of it almost, which really makes me sad because that's one of my favorite products to use. But I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning up my mess over here and get things put together. I hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day, evening, and I hope that you just have a really good rest of your week. Have a good day. Bye.